Hey, good morning and happy Tuesday. You make a very good, valid point here. So, this is what I would like to say about this whole topic. Do you remember back in the day when the mob ruled New York and Chicago and the boardwalk in New Jersey? Remember that? And do you remember how the mob would absolutely use their strength by threat to manipulate judges and DAs, police officers, police commissioners to bend the rules for what they want and how they want to do things, all in the benefit of either you do this or vote this certain way or rule this certain way, or we're going to take care of your family, or else we are not going to take care of your family. And then these judges and these DAs and police commissioners and lawyers would make these rulings in the way that it would benefit the mob. So the mob was able to go do what the mob wanted to do and not get in trouble by the judicial system. So I find it really funny that today's liberals, when we can say on this end of the aisle, we know for a fact this is a political witch hunt and these DAs and these attorneys and these police officers are being paid off by higher powers to politically target somebody. And it's like, oh, these judges would never do that. What do you mean they would never do it? There is literal books and hundreds of movies and publications of just that happening over the years. The judicial system has had a very long standing of history of being bought off paid judges and DAs and lawyers and police commissioners and higher ups, where they have been able to use their sense of power, being a president, a senator, a congressman, to be able to manipulate the judicial system to get what they want or to rule in the favor that they want. All we with the threat of you either do this or the mob's coming after you, or you either do this and we'll take care of your family or pay you off on the backside. There's been a long history of this in our judicial system. So why would you think that it would stop in today's political climate? I mean, let's go back to all of the TV shows and the movies and the books that have been written about corruption in the government. So you just think what, magically because Joe Biden was placed into office, all of that corruption just stopped? You don't think there's judges and DAs and police commissioners that haven't been paid off with powers of political grandstanding or encouraging their career to go up the chain a little bit faster into more higher positions? Because if you think that that just magically stopped in today's political climate, something that's been going on in our judicial system for a very long time, and now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying every judge has been paid off, but let's not get it twisted. If you think that this kind of stuff just magically stopped happening in today's political climate because Joe Biden became president, you haven't been paying attention. There has been bought off judges and police commissioners and lawyers and DAs, and they will absolutely do what they're supposed to be doing. Why do you think in all of these indictments that it has already been proven that these people, prior to filing these indictments against Donald Trump, all met with the Biden White House prior to filing these indictments? And then go ahead and tell yourself that a judge, a DA, a lawyer, or a police commissioner couldn't possibly be paid off for the power of or the promise of furthering their career up the chain of political power. Because if you think that that just magically stopped because Joe Biden got placed into office, well, then you haven't been paying attention. There's a long history in this country of judicial system being bought off and sold when it comes to the mob, when it comes to other political figures. I mean, you can just go back on the History Channel and watch and see how much corruption has been in the U.S. government for as long as we can remember. So what do you think? This corruption just magically stopped because a Democrat president is in power? Is that what you're thinking? Because anytime a conservative comes forward and go, you know what, I feel like this is a political persecution against Donald Trump. I feel like Joe Biden is using the DOJ and the CIA and the department, all of this to go after his leading political opponent to get him off the campaign trail, to try to bankrupt him. You guys are like, oh, how dare you ever think this way, right? But we all know on this side of the aisle, but there's been a long history of corruption in the U.S. government and other governments. And there's been a long history of the lower judicial branches absolutely being paid off, whether that be by politicians or mob members, either with the promise of you either do this or we're going to hurt you or your family. You either do this or so we will protect you and your family, or you either do this or rule the way that we want. So we'll promise you with a higher power position and help you work up the ranks of power. Power is one of those things that manipulates human beings. Once they get a taste of it, they just want more, right? And when you are up in a position of power, like our politicians are, well, they can absolutely bend the law the way that they want to see fit. So hundreds of movies and books and TV shows have been written about this kind of corruption and this kind of being bought off in the commission. I'll go back to the latest show that I just watched, which was Billions. The old Paul, Giamatti. I love him. He's a great actor. But look at just him in the TV show of just how corrupt his position was, being the district attorney of the state of New York in a, where do you think they're getting these TV episodes from? Where do you think they're getting these ideas from? Probably from things that have happened in our past and our history. So to wrap this up, if you think that today judicial systems can't be bought and sold by positions of power, then you certainly haven't been paying attention to the last 50 plus years of judges and DAs and lawyers and police commissioners absolutely being paid off to rule in favor of the people that are higher positions of power than them. So if you think that that just magically stopped when Joe Biden became president, well, darling, you haven't been paying attention. Good talk.